Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
Got everybody.
We're back. Golden Bachelorette. This is week 3 of the inaugural season. Make sure you like and subscribe here, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of your Bachelor Nation coverage, all of your reality TV coverage. Brian, week 3, this was a very emotional episode. There was a lot of feels going around this week, and it definitely sparked an emotional reaction from me. I think of the 3 episodes, not that I enjoy hearing about the grieving and all the stuff that they were talking about, but it did touch me. I will say that. I do think there were some things also that were a little funny or a little questionable. I did pop when I saw Wayne Newton. I love National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation. So anytime I get to get a little Wayne Newton, and I was psyched, man. But then he started singing, and I felt bad because he could barely talk. And so,
Yeah.
a high and low there. We had 3 eliminations, but like I said, overall, Brian, like I said, a very emotional episode. Kind of, what's your takeaway from this week?
You said I popped that, and you paused for a second. I was like, and I thought you were gonna say Gary, and I was like, what happened here? But I mean, yeah, I agree with you. There was definitely some moments, but I felt like they felt like natural moments, like it's just those candid conversations the guys are having, and then they kind of balances it out where they have to go to the grocery store, drugstore to get some melatonin and like sleep sacks. It looks like for themselves. So that was funny, and I'm surprised they let him off campus. I was that's kind of what something that really caught my eyes. Like, did they have an escort service and they just like, hey, you can only go in the store? Like behind the scenes stuff on that would probably be very funny.
The guys had to pick up their medication, man.
Right.
Can't be messing around. You still got to take your diabetes
Right.
medicine or your osteoporosis stuff. Like, come on,
And
you
they
got to make
they
sure
just
we're
like
ready to go.
nominate those two to the go.
And also, like, this was something I was waiting for this week. I felt like Joan did kind of step into center stage a little bit here. I do believe the last few weeks we've been saying the show has been about the guys, and I want the show to be about Joan, and I want the show to be about her actually, one, kind of getting through that next phase of grieving, and also, frankly, going out and seeing her have some fun and really getting into the process. And it meant a lot, I think, to myself, and I think to a lot of viewers, that she did kind of acknowledge that. She's like, kind of just letting these guys do all the talking and being vulnerable and sharing their lives and their trauma. And I'm being a little bit guarded. So I did appreciate that honesty. That, to me, again, like you said, it was genuine. What we
Yeah.
loved about the Golden Bachelor was the genuine nature and the fun of it. The first 3 episodes of this season have been focused a lot more on kind of I want to say, the real world aspect of being in later in life, looking for love again, or looking for love possibly for the first time. And so, uh, I think now we're trimming away some of the guys. I do think we're going to get to see a little bit more on them, but and I want to get your take on this, Brian. I still could not tell you who like her top contenders are. They all seem pretty damn equal to me, outside of Charles. They're keeping Charles as like the feel good guy, but like he's not going to win.
Well, I would say chalk, but it looks like he goes home next week. Why do they show that?
Why did they show that,
I,
Brian?
I don't understand that.
Is it going to be
They,
like
they, they,
a prank?
no, there's no way. Which
That
makes me
was
think that he's set up to be like the Golden Bachelor, because it's like very similar to Joan.
it's
Like she left pretty early too, and
going to
he's
be
like,
his
"Oh, he might be
Joan
him."
moment, right? It's going to be, hey, my daughter, something at work, or I don't know if he's retired, but something
Yeah,
personal is going to, because I mean, he had a one-on-one already. I mean, he went to Disney World.
yeah. I just my thing with the show and like even the main series is like I don't know why they give away too much in the previews, and then they do a preview before the show starts. Like we're here to watch the show. I don't want to know what's going to happen. I think somebody going home is something I don't think you should show. Maybe show like somebody's leaving with feet. Don't show the person or the voice. Like they could just do a better job of like leaving us like wondering what's happening so we actually want to tune in.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with this Golden franchise, because that's one thing that they don't do too much on the regular franchise. They don't just they allude kind of heavily to something coming, or they show you that if you skip the season preview trailer, then you're pretty good. they're doing this on the show. They're literally just telling you what's going to happen. Like
Yeah.
somebody going home is a big deal. Even last year with Joan, they previewed that in the trailer leading into the next week. We're like, well, Joan's leaving. It's like, I don't need to, and I don't think the viewers need to know that. Are they?
No.
Do you think people are dumb? Like why do we
I
need to
just
know?
I don't know. I mean, especially after this episode, because I thought this episode she was like really feeling him. So to make him show he's going, it's like, well, then what's going on now? We're just back to square one where she like has no connections. Like
Yeah,
if
and
it was like our boy, not our boy, but like Gil, like man, Gil had a lot of screen time today, even though that people don't like him or whatever's going on with him. And if he was leaving, I'd be like, okay, whatever. Like he's got some stuff going on in the media, but like not people that I thought that she actually like we've wanted to see like her taking a step forward with somebody. It's like that's the person that's going. Unless I'm confusing him with Jordan. That's the thing. I thought it was Chalk. Did you watch the Chalk?
I thought it was chalk too, but again,
Okay.
we can come let us know in the comments if it is somebody else. Uh,
I thought
we
it was
do need
Chalk,
to
but
talk
it,
about
like
Frankly,
maybe
though,
5% it
obviously.
could be Jordan. They kind of look similar, but
Uh, Talking about people going home, every episode of the Bachelor franchise does have a rose ceremony. So we do have to go over. I'm just going to go over who Joan did not give a rose to. We lost 3 men this week. We lost Greg, CK, and Kim. Kim got to do his swan song. That scene was very funny to me. These guys are like, I don't want to sing your song, bud. But
right.
then he got him to sing the song.
Well, yeah, the guy singing with him. Um,
Well,
guy's still here. Then we have what was it? Pascal got the one on one, and so did Jonathan got the one on one, and then Gil, like I said, Gil got a rose. What did you think of the kickball? I thought was going to be a real drag, and then they look like they were opening it up. Like it's like somebody like there must have been a trainer like working on their legs, like getting them loosed up, and then they just were started blasting those balls.
I I thought it was entertaining. Great call by them to not try to make them play any kind of like touch football or flag
Yeah,
football. There were going to
thank
be a
God.
ton of hits and knees blown out. Shout out
Yeah,
Andre Reed, Eric Dickerson. That was kind of cool. I mean, a
yeah.
lot of star power in this episode of The Golden Bachelor. Um, I've just laughed because we did that review earlier in Love is Blind, and I'm like, it's going to be the first this. And there we go, by Quaker Oats, because God forbid they don't have enough money already in this show that they
Wait.
sponsored the kickball tournament was sponsored by Quaker Oats.
Well, also the one of the one woman that was like friends with um Jenner was the a commercial. Did you see that? I
Yep,
fast
yep.
forwarded, but I saw her face.
Yeah, well, Joan was literally in the Quaker Oats commercial. It's like,
See, I
damn.
missed that. So I just saw one of the girls from last season, and I just fast forward. I was
No,
like, oh no,
Joan was in it too. Yeah. So
she's in
literally right after that segment aired, like the first commercial was a Quaker Oats commercial. And so
it.
they just have no shame. They have no shame in their game at all.
Well,
So
one more thing I want to talk about in the preview is her name Caitlin Bristow?
yeah, Caitlin Bristow.
She's in next week, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm honestly okay with it because there were rumors going into the season that she was going to be the host of this entire season.
Oh gosh,
And I was like, oh, I
that would
didn't
have
even
been
bring it up
absolutely
because I was like,
terrible.
that's a rumor. I don't even want to spread. So
Oh, oh God,
thankfully, not the case.
she is like uh,
Just entrenched.
people that share all their every single moment of their life on the internet is like you got to just chill out with it because then everybody on these pages are like, look what she's doing today, and everyone's like, we don't care.
Nobody cares.
We don't care what she's doing. She's like a nutso.
No, I fully agree with that sentiment, Brian.
But we do get an old person striptease next week, which should be very interesting.
It's going to be funny. Like I said, overall, really a
Mhm.
good episode. We will
Yeah.
give the same critique we give every week. The show would be amazing if it was 1 hour. We
Mhm.
didn't even talk about Gary, but like, thank God they didn't shove him down our throats. I was like, put him at the end. That I actually was a little confused as we were watching. I was like, did I miss him? Because I knew he was in the
He
preview. I'm
was like
like,
the thumbnail or something.
yeah, I
You
thought
notice
I
that?
missed him.
I was just like, come on, man.
Thank God
What
when
are
he
we doing?
said, "Is your guys not here?" I was like,
I was
"Don't,
worried that he was gonna be like, can I stay
don't,
out of it? I'm getting
don't."
laptop close.
Oh my God, I would have screamed. I was
That would
screamed.
have been brutal. That would have been absolutely brutal.
But yeah, so overall, like I said, Brian, I think my favorite episode so far. It was one that made me
Definitely.
feel the most emotions. And like I said, we unfortunately lost 3 men. So we're, like I said, we're getting into the striptease next week. We may have a fan favorite going home, and it looks like Joan's in a little bit of a bind. So looking forward to seeing if it delivers. Like I mentioned earlier, we did just premiere the review of week 1 of Love is Blind season 7. We also will have Survivor 47 episode 3. Myself, Brian, and Kyle Petty from the Kyle Petty Show and the Strat Chat podcast joined us. Also, check out everything else we had going on past week. Kyle and Brian also did the review of the most recent episode of The Anonymous. That is barreling towards its season finale as well. So we're coming up on that. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. You won't miss a thing. But for myself and Brian, until next week, thank you so much for watching. Peace.